welcome to yet another edition of the Stats and Stacks podcast. For today, we're going over UFC San Diego, Cruz versus Vera. First things first, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe. Follow us over on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, anywhere you can find social media. We are there. As always, we'll go over the last week. The last week was a weird one. There were how many fights were there? 11 ended up being 10 total fights. 10 total fights. So there are a few cancellations. Went 7 for 3 on picks. So we did have Mayra Bueno Silva. Started off on a high, nailed every single prelim, crushed it. The main card got a little rough. Fucking Juliana Miller, freaking Zach Palega, Vicente Luque. We started on such a high. Things kind of fell apart at the end with those three back to back to back. And then we went ahead and we finished up with Jamal Hill. It is what it is. I think the thing that pisses me off the most is that, you do hours of research, you do all of the fight tape, you go back and you check all of the stats, shout out to Tape Index. You go out and you do all the research. You watch hours worth of fights just to end up even, right where I was. So anytime you're not a loser, it's a good thing, but a lot of research just to end up with the same amount of money in my bank account than when I started. But that is the world of MMA. One of my best friends literally chose Muhammad Usman because of how mean he looked. Other people were choosing Juliana Miller because they thought she was hot. And these are the people that were crushing last week. It is what it is. Betting MMA is a bitch, but it's something I cannot stop doing. It is the best sport to bet, just on a sheer excitement basis. I'm hoping this week's a little better. We're not looking to break even. We're just looking to go positive. So at the end of the day, it's a decent fight card here, and I keep forgetting it's with fans, so I like that aspect a lot. I'm so used to the Apex. There's a lot of weird fights on here, and there's a lot of repeats, so this probably won't be as long as usual because we're going to blow past some of the fights. There are 3 fights that we've broken down, 2 of them from last week, another one from like 4 weeks ago. We've already broken these fights down. Nothing has changed, so we'll fly through those a little quicker than the others. And honestly, the first one is the very first fight of the night, but there is a lot of grease with this fight. We have Jason Witt still plus 190 against Josh Kullian at minus 225. It's a weird fight, man, just solely on the fact that it got pushed back because of Josh Kullian again. The dude crushed it in Contender Series. The dude packs a lot of power. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. I did forget to mention that last week, so at least we're going back to that. His wrestling, I've seen him taken down, but he's a good black belt. He has good hips down there. He's able to do a lot of sweeps. I saw him get a lot of sweeps on the ground, and he doesn't really want to utilize his black belt to continue to fight on the ground. He wants to utilize his black belt to get sweeps and get back up to stay defensive, because this dude packs a punch. I think part of the reason he packs such a punch is that he's roided up. This man is on the juice. He won his Contender Series fight 9 months ago and then ended up testing positive and got a 9-month suspension. He was supposed to fight last week, and unfortunately, there was still a little bit of a supplement in when he got tested again. Luckily for him, there was a fight card in California, and it was very, very eerily reminiscent to the John Jones situation, when it basically is not steroids per se, and the level is so minute that it's not as if he was using it. Would have been from a long time ago. So the Vegas commission doesn't allow it, but the California commission says, fuck it, who cares? We know it was from a while ago. So they just happened to have a card a following week later, hence them fighting just 1 week later. Now, generally speaking, as last week, I was considering a Jason Witt shot because of the Contender Series fade. Anytime there is someone that is a big favorite in Contender Series, you can fade them, and they seem to struggle a little bit as long as that other person has UFC experience. Jason Witt has UFC experience. Jason Witt is a very, very good wrestler. The problem is, I think the Vanilla Gorillas are 2 of the worst fighters in MMA. Jason Witt and Chase Sherman. If your name is a Vanilla Gorilla, you should probably be cut because you're not good, apparently. He slows down. He does not have cardio. I do like that he's at Glory MMA with James Krause. But when he's on the feet, it's very low volume. He's very hittable, and I think he is the worst chin in MMA. One of the worst chins in MMA, definitely top 3 worst. And that's not good. If you're hittable and you don't have cardio and you have no chin, God, I can never bet you. So he would have to wrestle fuck Josh. And Josh, again, is probably the better jiu-jitsu practitioner. So even if he just uses one of those sweeps to get up, then Jason Witt's playing with fire. And Josh has 15 minutes. You have a roided man, you're giving him a 2-inch reach advantage also, and you're giving him 15 minutes to catch someone once. It's going to happen eventually. So I do like the under. I do like Josh Kulian. He's unproven, only 5-0, but he's going to catch that chin. And to make matters worse, these weight cuts, Jason Witt's a thick boy. So he came in, he made weight just fine. If you're asking him to make weight again the following week later, I think that you see people kind of, if they have to make weight consistently, their chin seem to go. He already has a bad chin. You're asking him to make weight back-to-back weeks. It's probably going to mess with his durability a little. So if you have a fragile fighter cutting into their durability, I am now forced to take Josh. So the pick is Josh. The bet is Josh. I do not hate the under whatsoever. It's probably a better line in all honesty. Next fight of the night, more fucking grease. We're cooking with fire today, baby. We got Yusuf Zalal going up against Damon Blackshear. Yusuf Zalal, it went up to -130, Blackshear at +105. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 is -215. Under 2.5 at +175. Let's start with Zalal, because I love this kid. I think he's uber talented. He's only 25 years old. He will have a 3-inch reach advantage here. He'll have the UFC experience here, as this is like his 7th UFC fight. He is very good striking, but you don't see it often. He generally likes to grapple his opponents. He has sneaky good jiu-jitsu, and his wrestling's not terrible. It's not good, but he's using it when he's supposed to. I mean, when you're fighting people like Austin Lingo and Jordan Griffin, Peter Barrett, they're not too difficult to take down, so why not take the easy route? And I mean, that's just smart on his part. He has smart game plans going in. He's really odd. He has good cardio generally, but it's weird. He's cutting down to 135 for the first time, so that I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. His last 3 fights, Sung Woo Choi is a big boy. Sean Woodson is a big boy. Ilia Topuria is just damn good and kind of thick. Someone that was been hospitalized for making 145. So in all honesty, he's someone that does like to grapple, even though he's predominantly a striker. And if he can't take you down, he seems to struggle. The Sugwoo Choi fight was kind of close, but I did give it to Choi. The Sean Woodson fight was a split decision. It was kind of close. I did give it to Woodson. And Topuria came out, and although Zalal gave him his most competitive fight in the UFC outside of the Jay Herbert head kick, they had him rocked for a little. Zalal just wasn't able to get the job done there. And that's before people knew how good Ilia Topuria was. But those 3 guys are not bad at all. The 3 guys he beat are. So where does he lie here in the 145 division? We don't know. We probably won't know, because he's dropping down to 135. And I don't know. You would think that helps him with his grappling for sure. It's going to be a lot easier to take someone like Damon Blackshear down than it is Sean Woodson. But in retrospect, is that going to hurt his gas tank? Is that going to hurt his durability? Because he was eating some shots from Choi. He was eating some shots from Topuria. Like, he was getting cracked and just taking it. He's at a good camp in Factory Muay Thai, so I'm hoping that they know what they're doing with this weight cut and it's going to benefit him. On the flip side, I mean, he's on honestly, one last thing. I like this kid a lot. He's on a 3-fight losing streak. So I'm scared if he loses again, he will get cut. Not everyone gets a Sam Alvey treatment. I know he took a lot of these fights on short notice, so he's helping the UFC out. So maybe if he loses, they'll give him one last chance since he's only 25. But they might cut him and just keep an eye on him and bring him back, considering he's only 25. He could take the Dustin Jacoby approach, but I'm hoping he just wins. It doesn't have to worry about that. My issue is I like Damon Blackshear. I had no idea who he was coming in. I know I've seen the name before, but I wasn't 100% familiar with him. Going back and watching the tape, I was uberly impressed. This man is going to win me money in the UFC. My issue is it now? He comes from CFFC, which I love people that come from. Jeremiah Wells, Pat Sabatini. Those are like the guys that I think of right away that come from that scene. He has really good jiu-jitsu. His jiu-jitsu is sneaky good, and he's only 27, so he's getting better every time too. He has good wrestling. His wrestling is not bad. He has a Division I wrestling pedigree. Cardio for days. He will go all day, just like Yusuf Zalal. So, I mean, this is such a close matchup. I'm pretty sure it opened up at a pick'em, justifiably so. This kid is explosive, man. I like this kid a lot. He doesn't train with Pat Sabatini and those boys, but he's, again, the same promotion. The Dawkins brothers all come from CFFC. I love when you come from, that is that's probably one of the best regional scenes. That M1 Global, those are probably the best regional scenes. And his losses, man, he has some experience. He's 12-4. He's fought 16 times. His losses, he lost to the aforementioned Pat Sabatini. That's a good loss, and he went to decision. He lost to Danny Sabatello. Danny Sabatello is good. He's very, very good, and no one talks about him because he's in Bellator. He lost to Chris Montino. That's concerning to me. That's very, very concerning. That was 4 years ago. Chris Montino is the guy with green hair that got the shit kicked out of him from Sean O'Malley and then went on to get KO'd by a 41-year-old Guido Canetti. Like, Chris Montino is not exactly UFC caliber, but he was in the UFC for a short stint. So, all in all, those are not terrible losses to have. But that Chris one, it hurts a little because the law will kill Chris Montino. So, I don't know. This kid is somewhere in the middle. Into my dream scenario, he loses here. Zalal keeps his job and looks great at 135. Blackshear is slept on, comes in as a big dog his next fight and dominates. That would be perfect. Do I think that's going to happen? I honestly don't know. I would probably just take the over in this instance. I think they're both super young. I still think they're super good. But I do have one other rule. If you are a young fighter, you have to be a young fighter, not an old fighter, and you take a year or more off and you come back, generally they come back good. You look at the Nick Naraga-Mainus of the world, like they come back like 10 times better than what you saw before. Yusuf Zalal has not fought in 14 months. When it's because of injury, it doesn't count. When they just willingly do it and they realize that they have to train and get better and stuff, I do like it. So with that theory, I will pick Yusuf Zalal. The bet, I really want to say over. Yusuf is not a finisher. Blackshear kind of is, but Zalal is not a finisher. But if Zalal wins, it's going to be a decision. So I like the over a little more. And Yusuf is very, very hard to put away. I don't know what his chin's going to look like at 135. I will just trust the youth and his decision and the fact that he took 14 months to do this. So pick a Zalal. The bet will probably be the over 2.5 at -215. Don't pick a side. I think they're both phenomenal young talents. Next fight of the night, we go from phenomenal young talents to one of the oldest men in the UFC, a lighter division. We have Tyson Nam at a spry 38 years old as a +195 dog going up against O'Day Osborne at -230. Over 2.5 is +105. Under 2.5 -135. Let's start with Nam since we already spoke his name. Power is the first thing that comes to mind when I see Tyson Nam. I mean, just look at him. The dude cracks. He hits you super, super hard. He's super durable himself. I can't remember the last time he's been finished. It's been, God, when is the last time he's been finished? I don't think he's ever been finished. One time, Marlon Moraes. Marlon Moraes, we know, is a killer. 2013. Wow, that's the last time that might be the only time he's been finished. Yeah, dude's durable as all hell. Loves to move forward. Is a little hittable. He doesn't have the greatest volume. He does have 100% takedown defense, so this will predominantly be on the feet. And again, he hits so hard that it only takes one. Generally, in these lighter weight classes at 125, you don't see a ton of knockouts, but a lot of them, if you see them, are probably Tyson Nam, because when he hits you, ask Jerome Rivera, ask Saru Gadashev, like 30-second knockouts. It does not take long. He hit super hard. That's all I got. His striking's not bad. He went toe-to-toe with Matt Schnell. Matt Schnell is super, super good. It's just he was able to squeak out a split decision over Tyson because of the volume. He doesn't land more than like 60 strikes every fight. On the flip side, O'Day Osborne, he's okay. He's kind of I wouldn't say a generalist per se. His jiu-jitsu, he has been tapped out a lot, but it was early on in his career. I mean, he has 4 losses, 1 by knockout. He got tapped out by Brian, tapped out by a knee bar. So he got tapped out 2 out of his 4 losses. So I don't know. He also has a few triangle and arm bars himself. His ground game's fine. His wrestling's okay. It's not the greatest. It's just okay. His striking's pretty good. He's pretty fast, pretty explosive, hits pretty damn hard. He will have a 4-inch reach advantage, which I like a lot. I don't like the fact that he's also hittable. So both these gentlemen get hit more than they dish out. So they are a little susceptible on the feet. He too beat Jerome Rivera. But here's my problem with Ode Osborne. Ode Osborne, one, did slow down quite a bit in the CJ Vergara fight. Secondly, he doesn't have the best wins. Zaruk Adashev, they kind of have the same wins. Zaruk Adashev, Jerome Rivera, both these men beat both of them in the UFC. CJ Vergara, I love CJ. I think CJ's a dog. But he's okay. Manel Kopp crushed him. Jerome Rivera's ass. Brian Kelleher's good. And then we have that kid from the Contender Series. So his wins are effectively Zaruk Adashev, CJ Vergara, Jerome Rivera. But he lost to Brian Kelleher and Manel Kopp, who are good. On the flip side, you have Tyson Nam, who also beat Zaruk Adashev, Jerome Rivera. Again, we already established that they're bad. Lost the match now, Kai Kara France, Sergio Pettis. He also, those are the only ones he beat in the UFC. So they beat the same guys that are. So they're both can crushers, and one of them have to lose here. I'm gonna take Ode Osborne as a pick, but the 4-inch reach advantage. I think he's a lot faster. I think he's gonna be able to hit him at range, but God, he gets hit a lot, and I don't know, man. I'm scared of this Nam power. I think I'm going to bet Nam at almost plus 200 just for sheer value sake. Ode gets hit a lot, but he's so much better. I don't know. The pick is going to be Ode Osborne. The bet is going to be Nam because I don't want to play with that over under. Flyweight generally goes over and it's plus money. So that's a clear indication that this is a trap. Stay away from the over under. Take Ode Osborne, but bet Nam or stay the hell away from this sheer dogger pass. Next fight of the night, we have Gabriel Benitez against at minus 350 going up against Charlie Ontiveros at plus 290. Over under set at 1.5. Over 1.5 is plus 170. That's craziness. Under 2.5, minus 210. And I've seen like minus 240 as of late. So this thing is getting steamed to the under. No one thinks it's going to make it past a 7-minute marker. And I agree for both of their sakes. Let's start with Charlie Ontiveros because he is trash. If he looks any familiar to you, he's the dude that like broke his neck or got stretchered out after he fought Kevin Holland. He fought Kevin Holland at 185. This fight is at 155. He has effectively dropped 2 weight classes. His last fight was also at 155, lost to Steve Garcia. But that Garcia fight was weird because he rocked Garcia, and he rocked Garcia multiple times. He had him seconds away from getting a win. The dude cracks kind of hard, in all honesty. He has good striking. He has like a karate style. He'll throw some axe kicks out there, some wild evasive hooks while falling backwards. Like the guy is kind of wild and kind of good. In all honesty, on the feet. His biggest issue is that I talked about Jason Wittchin. Jesus Christ, Charlie. Charlie has how many losses? 8 losses. Let's count how many times he's been knocked out. Steve Garcia, 1. Kevin Holland, 2. Phil Morris, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He has 8 losses, 8 by knockout. This guy is, and then you look at his wins: knockout, 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 decision, split decision. There you go. Another split decision. Wow, he guillotined someone and armbarred someone. Decision, knockout. So he has 11 wins, and about 8 of them are by knockout. This dude is literally a glass cannon. He kind of reminds me of a lightweight version of Jordan Wright. If he hits you, he can put you out. If you touch him once, he's going out. That's just playing with fire. But he will have a 5-inch reach advantage here, and that's very, very big to me solely on the fact that Gabe Benitez is a little chinny himself these days. He was never known as being chinny, but when you check out his last few fights, he's the one that fought David Onama and got knocked out in the first round. He got knocked out by Billy Q. That's not a good look. That might be Billy Q's like own knockout. Like that is not a good look. Sadiq Youssef knocked him out. All these are happening within the last like 2 years. Before that, God, Andre Fili knocked him out in 2015. He might have always been a little chinny. You just never noticed it. He's in all of these wars and he's getting all of these wins, but the dude in these UFC tenure, he has lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fights in the UFC. He's been knocked out in 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. He's chinny himself. And that's why this over-under is set at 1.5. He is at AKA, which is a good camp, but it's weird because they're known for wrestling and he's a striker. And God, if there's a sports book that tells you, will they talk about his leg kicks and how hard they is? Yes, take it. Whatever the number is, take the over. That's all you fucking hear. He's the hardest kicker. They say he's the hardest leg kicks. He kicks harder than Luke Rockhold. Like, if I hear that one more fucking time, I'm probably going to listen to this fight on mute so I don't have to hear them say that. He has pretty good volume on the feet, though, and he does hit hard. He does kick hard. He has pretty decent power, but he slows down in fights, too. That Billy Q knockout was sheer exhaustion, not really him getting clipped with anything. The fact he just couldn't move anymore. And part of that is his age, too. I mean, he's getting older. He's 34. You see him slowing down. He's been in a lot of wars. It's been a long career. And he also got that David Onama fight 6 months ago. He got knocked out. So the bare minimum when people get deaded is 6 months for me. If you were knocked out, KO'd brutally earlier than 6 months and you're coming back, I don't want to bet you. I think your chin is still susceptible. It was the 6 month marker, literally at my cutoff. Charlie Cracks, God, just take the steam. Fuck it. The pick is going to, you know what? Pick is probably going to be Charlie. No, I can't bet Charlie Altamira. Yeah, I am. I say the pick is Charlie, but I'm betting the under. I don't care that it's minus 240. It's free money. It is literal free money. Take it. All right. Next fight of the night is another one we'll fly by again because we talked about this fight a few weeks ago. Nina Nunez plus 125. Cynthia Calvillo minus 150. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 minus 210, under 2.5 plus 170. We'll fly through it. Nina Nunez has great striking. Obviously, Amanda Nunez's wife, coming back from her baby, she did not look the greatest. She got taken down by Mackenzie Dern. I think she might be literally the first person Mackenzie Dern's ever taken down. But generally, she has 76% takedown defense. She's 37, so she's getting a little older. And she's moving up a weight class. She generally fights at 115. This fight is at 125. And she is the reason fight got canceled last time. They deemed her unphysically or not eligible to compete. I don't know what happened. I don't really want to know what happened. That's not the greatest look. On the flip side, Cynthia Calvillo is pretty decent wrestling. Her striking's okay. It was actually better than I remember when I went back and did fight tape. But her jiu-jitsu is all right, but she's just a size bully, man. That's what she is. She would go in and she would dominate these girls at 115. Her wrestling was not actually that great. When you go back and you watch, she just muscles everything. And honestly, she cheated. She never actually made 115. She kept weighing in at freaking 117. She only made weight at 115 1 or 2 times total. Like, she literally could not make 115. She would come in huge for the division, lose half her purse for missing weight, but she would win the fight, so she would get the other half, and that's the way she beat the system. She just cheated, man. She was a size bully. It's not working at 125. They told her you can't do 115 anymore. You never make the weight. You have to go up. She went up to 125 and beat Jessica Ai. Jessica Ai is ass. Jessica Ai also really struggled to make weight that fight and looked terrible. After that, she lost 3 straight fights at 125. My only thing is she lost to Caitlin Chikagian, who is the ultimate gatekeeper. Jessica Andrade, former champion. Andrea Lee is decent. So she lost to 3 of the top 10 girls in the division. So is it because she's up at 125, or is it because those girls are that damn good? Well, I'll tell you what. Nina Nunez is old, but so is Cynthia Calvillo. She's 35. She's coming up from 115. So is Nina Nunez. So I don't know if the size is going to be that big of a difference. So it comes down to, can Calvillo get this down to the ground? Again, Mackenzie Dern took down Nina Nunez. Not a good look. But before that, I mean, she fought Tatiana Suarez. Tatiana Suarez is the best female wrestler we've ever seen in the UFC. And those were all of the takedowns. Outside of the weird one against Mackenzie Dern and all of the Tatiana Suarez takedowns, if you take all of those out, she's rocking like a 95% takedown defense. I don't think Calvillo is the one to break that. We just saw Amanda look phenomenal. And I did see that Nina Nunez was training with Tony Gravely for this fight, who is a great wrestler at ATT. So she knows what's going to happen. She's already the better striker. If she's just doing wrestling drills all day at plus money, even though her last fight was a little sketchy, I'll just take the plus money. So the pick is Nina. The bet's going to be Nina. Nothing's changed. I don't care that the fight got canceled because of her. I'm going to take the plus money because you can't trust Calvillo. Next fight of the night's another weird one, but one I feel oddly confident in. We have Martin Buday as a minus 250 favorite going up against Lucas Bresky at plus 210. Over under set at 1.5. Over 1.5 is minus 165. Under 1.5 at plus 135. Let's start with Lucas, because I think Lucas is ass. Lucas is okay striking. Cardio is trash. He will keep throwing while he's tired. Don't get me wrong. He will be completely gassed and still just throw anything he can. It's coming like to where I think my mom could probably dodge it, but at the same time, he's trying. He should not be a heavyweight. The man always weighs in at like 230. You can see a couple love handles there. I mean, he's not fat by any means. I can't fat shame anyone. But this is a pro athlete. Pretty sure he could lose the 30 pounds. So he's a true light heavyweight. He's not an actual heavyweight. He's one of these Dana White Contender Series guys. God, I don't know, man. I know you're supposed to fade them when they're the favorites and he's an underdog, but I gotta fade this guy. He's not a real heavyweight. He likes to do a lot of work in the clinch, and he just tries to bum rush you and put you away. On the flip side, Martin Buday is also a Contender Series fighter. He had one fight in the UFC already, though, against her buddy. The best heavyweight in the division, Chris Barnett. Chris Barnett is god awful. He wanted out of there. He quit in the middle of the fight and tried to steal a win and tried to get Martin Buday DQ'd. Martin Buday is also not the greatest. All he does is dirty box. He's not a wrestler by any means. All he does is take all 260 pounds of himself, push you against the cage, grab your neck in a clinch against the cage, hold you there, throw a few body shots, hold you there, throw a few body shots, hold you there, hit you with a hook, all in the clinch, all against the cage. Literally, that's all he does. It is one of the most boring fights you will watch in your life. He might be the most boring fighter in the UFC, but you cannot stop it because he doesn't try to take you down. He takes all 260-pound frame, shoves you against the cage, grabs your neck, and just punches you. Takes a break, punches you. So I can't say his cardio is great, but he just literally puts all of his body weight and leans on you to where you get tired holding him up. Lucas already has cardio issues. You have a 265-pound man that's going to be 40, 50 pounds heavier than him when this fight kicks off, leaning on you, punching your ribs for 15 minutes. What the fuck is Lucas going to do? The only thing I can tell you is that this fight, I don't hate the over. It's heavyweight. So generally it gets a little juice to the over. The over 1.5 is minus 165. So the bookies already know what Buday is going to do. That's all he does. I do like the over. I do just like Martin. I like Buday to win outright. But what I've learned are there are two things I will never lock. I was very close to locking Martin Buday, but there are two things I will never lock again. Low-level heavyweight. Fuck you, Muhammad Usman. You cost me money. And I will never bet women's MMA. Fuck you, Juliana Miller. The last 3 locks that have missed have all been heavyweight. Jared Vandera, Muhammad Usman. God, I forgot who else. It's women's MMA. Well, not women's MMA. Low level, that's the difference. When you see them a while, it's different. But low level heavyweight low-level women's MMA. I cannot seem to get right, no matter how much tape I do. Martin Buday versus Lucas Brisky is low-level heavyweight. Fuck no, I can't lock it. I will pick Martin to win. I do think he wins. He will be in a parlay, one parlay. I like the over a little more with this style. I do. I don't think Lucas is putting him anyway. He only has one loss on his record, and it's to Juan Espino. Juan Espino is very, very good, and he's a grappler. He was able to take Martin Buday down. That will stop him from holding him against the cage. Not a lot of wrestlers in the heavyweight division, and Lucas is not one of them. Pick Martin, bet Martin, or the over 1.5. Next fight of the night is another one that makes me sad. We have Angela Overkill Hill plus 280 going up against Lupi Lobita Godinez, and the UFC will put her as Lupi, not Lupita, if you're ever trying to find her, minus 340. Over 2.5 is minus 335. Under 2.5 is plus 260. The reason I'm sad is because it's the end of an era. Angela Hill is good. She is the best 500 fighter the UFC has ever seen. And I say that because right now she's 13-12, and she is most likely going to be 13-13. I think so. Vegas seems to think so. The issue with Angela Hill is that she has phenomenal Muay Thai. She's a very, very good striker. She has very, very good cardio. She's very, very tough to put away. She has a great chin. I don't think she's been submitted. She's been armbarred. What's her face? Armbarred her with red hair. Ronda Marcos, I want to say armbarred her. Yeah, she did. Yeah. The problem with Angela Hill is she's very, very durable, very, very hard to put away. Verna Jandaroba is one of the best jiu-jitsu practitioners in that division. Literally, her and Mackenzie Dern, period. Verna took her down every single round and was not able to submit her. She will not get submitted anymore. She's very, very durable. Amanda Lemos is one of the hardest hitters in that division. She cracked Angela Hill, even sat her down, and was not able to put her away. You're not going to knock out Angela Hill. What you're going to do is you're going to decision Angela Hill. Verna, decision. Amanda Lemos, split decision. Tisha Torres, decision. Michelle Watterson, split decision. Claudia Gadelia, split decision. Jean Yanan, very, very good. Decision. Ronda Marcos armbar, weird. Courtney Casey, split decision. This woman literally has never won a split decision in her entire career. Literally has never won a split decision. If you know what a split decision is, that means half the judges see that you won, half the judges saw that you lost. And unfortunately, she has never gotten the nod in any split decisions. I think she beat Michelle Watterson. I think she beat Claudia Vidalia, but she is just, that record does not indicate how good she truly is. The issue with her is that she's 37 years old. She's at the tail end of her career, and she is on a 3-fight losing streak. One more and she's probably cut. They're not going to keep 37-year-olds around when they're on a 4-fight losing streak. She's fighting the best. Tisha Torres was 1 fight away from a title. Amanda Lemos, 1 fight away from a title. Verna Jandaroba, very good, very underrated. But they're probably not going to keep her. She's a broadcaster. They're going to keep her in the company. They're going to keep paying her, but probably not to fight. On the flip side, Lupita Godinez should probably be undefeated, in all honesty. She's very, very good. Phenomenal grappling. Her sister is like on the Mexican Olympic team or something. Like, she's a very, very, very good wrestler. She has good striking. She's a little lower volume than I would like to see. She's very low volume, but when she hits hard. Like, she cracks very, very hard. And her jiu-jitsu is sneaky good. It's very, very good. You see her tap out Sylvina Suarez. You saw her dominate Ariana Cota-Lucy with her wrestling, dominated Luma Lugume with her wrestling. The reason I say she's probably should be undefeated is the fact that she fought Jessica Penne. She lost a split decision, and I have no idea how the judges gave it to Penne. Penne did nothing. She sat on her back. And then Lupi slammed her a few times. It was a very uneventful fight, but Penne did absolutely nothing. She just held her there. Lupi at least slammed her a few times. That should have given her something. I know I'm a little biased because I used to wrestle, but I don't understand. You ask anyone, you look at all of the judging online, everyone had it for Lupi except for the judges that mattered that were sitting there that night. So they gave it to Penne. Then she went ahead and fought Savannah Suarez, crushed her, armbarred her in the first round, and then turned around and fought up a weight class a week later. like less than a week later. It was like 6 days. And she tried to get a record for most UFC wins within a certain time frame. It didn't work. She had a good game plan. She came out and wrestled. The issue is Luana Carolina is huge, huge at 125. And Loopy kept going for body lock takedowns. It's very tough to do against people that are bigger and taller than you. When they're that tall, you shoot on their legs. It's a lot easier to hit a single or a double on when someone's really lanky. I saw Yusuf Zalal do the same thing with Sean Woodson. He kept going upper body. Like, don't go upper body with someone taller than you. You can't jack them up. They're already tall. You can't do it. It's stupid. DC can do it because he's an Olympic wrestler, but it's just not the path of least resistance. She didn't seem to realize that. Lost on a when she took a fight on 6 days' notice up a weight class. I don't fault her for that. She shouldn't have put herself in that situation. Those are her 2 losses: a weird split decision and up a weight class in 6 days. Other than that, she's dominated. Even on the regional scene, you've seen her go like 4 rounds before. Her cardio seems just fine. Pretty durable. I like this girl a lot. On the feet, I will say Angela's the better fighter. I think Angela's definitely the better striker, but Loopy's she's absolutely the better wrestler, and she knows that. So she's just going to wrestle Angela Hill for 15 minutes. She won't be able to finish her, so you definitely take Loopy and Loopy by decision. That's guaranteed. If she wins, that's how she wins, I promise you. Only thing is, I know this is a wild call. Angela Hill has never won a split decision. This has split decision written all over it for me for some reason. Here's the crazy thing, though. Angela Hill is from San Diego. She's the hometown girl. Is she going to get a hometown nod and finally get a... Everyone is aware of her split decision look. Everyone knows about it. Are they just going to give it to her? This is the case in her hometown with her career on the line. There could be some grease here. So don't touch this fight. If you want to do anything, take the over 2.5 or fight goes a distance, but you're looking at minus 335. Neither one of these girls are finishing anything. So if you want to try to put it in a parlay, that's fine, but you're not getting a ton of value there. That's the only way I would play this fight. This has grease written all over it. Next fight of the night is another women's MMA fight, and we're not going to touch this. It's also low level. Ariana Lipsky, minus 195. Priscilla Cachoeira, plus 165. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5, minus 165. Under 2.5, plus 135. We're not going to spend a lot of time because this is also one that got canceled from last week. Lipsky, she has okay striking. She'll have a 2-inch reach advantage. She's extremely hittable. She has very, very poor wrestling. Antonina Shevchenko dominated her on the mats. And she's the reason the fight got canceled. She missed weight last week. Now this fight is up at 135. And for whatever reason, the line grew. It was Ariana Lipsky minus 165, Priscilla Ketcha beating at plus 150. Now we're looking at plus 165 for Cachoeira and Lipsky at minus 195. I'm assuming it's because of the weight class jump from 125 to 135, but I don't know why this line is flipping or going that high. On the flip side, I know I said Lipsky's hittable. Cachoeira's, her nickname is the Zombie Girl. She's a definition of hittable. I've never seen anyone get hit more than Priscilla Cachoeira. Literally gets hit with double more shots than she dishes out. But when she does hit you, she hits very hard. She has a lot of power. She also has no wrestling, so this is probably going to be a stand-up affair. And her volume, it's okay. She dishes out more than Lipsky, I'll tell you that. So Lipsky averages around like 3.5 significant strikes per minute. Cachoeira right around 4.5. So on paper, Cachoeira throws more, but she also gets hit with 8 significant strikes per minute. So I don't know, man. This is a weird fight. Last time, I think we were on Lipsky and the over. I don't like that she missed weight and it's up a weight class. This is some weird stuff going on. This might be one of the biggest fades on the card, but if I absolutely have to choose someone, I guess Lipsky, but the bet would, I don't know, man. I don't like that weight miss and up a weight class. I'll still just bet the over. Catch a beating is definitely the value side, but look at her. I'm not betting Cachoeira. I just can't physically do it. So the pick is going to be Lipsky. The bet is going to be the over. Next fight of the night is a stone cold absolute lock. We have Bruno Silva minus 280, and I think it was like minus 305 the last time I checked. I think it's going up. Going up against Gerald Meerschaert at plus 235. Over under set at 1.5. Over 1.5 is plus 100. Under 1.5 is minus 130. Under 1.5 is a minus 130. Did you hear what I said? Part of that is because of Bruno Silva. Bruno Silva is a great fighter. He went toe-to-toe with Alex Pereira, who's about to fight for a title. He has good stand-up, phenomenal power. When he touches you, you go out. Like, he hits hard. Definitely one of the hardest hitters in the division. He also did his regional scene over at M1 Global, fighting all the scary Russians, crushed it over there. Pretty decent volume, very good volume. He slows down a little in his fights, but his one fight against Andrew Sanchez, he wrestled him the entire time. And finally, when he got some separation, he knocked out Andrew Sanchez in the third, showing that his power carries over even when he's exhausted in the third round. So he has 15 minutes to catch you once. He has a pretty good stand-up game. I'll be honest with you. He gets taken. He's not impossible to take down. His takedown defense is okay, but he has a very good get-up game. Once you get him down, he pops immediately up back to his feet. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Now, a lot of people keep saying it's a fake black belt. Not necessarily. Wellington Turman is not bad on the ground. He beat Wellington Turman in a jiu-jitsu competition. My thing is, the reason people say it's a fake one is because he has a lot of sub losses on his record. His first 3 or 4 losses or 5 losses were all by sub. But here's the thing. He's not a black belt then. That was years ago. You have to look at how long this man has been fighting. He's around in 2012. That was 10 years ago. He's done so much work. If you're getting tapped out left and right, do you not think you're working on that nonstop? He's gotten a lot better on the ground. Beating Wellington Turman in a jiu-jitsu competition is not easy. In a grappling fight, that is not easy. And then he went and did it in the UFC in his debut. So he is a legit black belt. Even if it's just on a defensive standpoint, that's all he needs, because all he needs is get on the feet and hit you once. So great striker. He's a 10 times better striker here. On the flip side, you have Gerald Meerschaert, who is probably the best jiu-jitsu. Middleweight's kind of stacked. I would say him, Andrew Muniz. Jacare's no longer there. I'd say him and Andre Muniz are probably the 2 best jiu-jitsu practitioners currently in this division. So Bruno, again, he had some jiu-jitsu problems in the past, but are they going to rear their ugly head again? I don't think so, because Gerald Meerschaert can't wrestle for shit. His striking's a little debatable. He's very, very, very chinny. Very chinny. He's another one that wants to compete with Jason Witt for worst chins in the UFC, between him and Malcolm Gordon. He's a 3-inch reach advantage, so that's a plus for him. He definitely has a jiu-jitsu edge, even though Bruno's fine on the ground. Gerald is better, GM3. But again, he can't wrestle. So what the fuck is Gerald Meerschaert supposed to do when he can't wrestle with a bad chin going up against a power puncher? In a perfect world, he gets him down and he taps him out. But I saw Khamzat Chimaev, who is a welterweight, knock out GM3 in 17 seconds by landing one punch. I saw Ian Heinisch, who is now cut from the promotion, knock out Gerald Meerschaert with one punch. Eric Anders got a split. Before that, Kevin Holland got a split. Jack tapped him out. Jack is so good. I love Jack. Grounds and pound from Thiago Santos. I mean, that's Thiago Santos. What are you supposed to do? But yeah, it's the older he's getting, the chinnier he's getting. He used to not get knocked out all the time like that, but when you look at his last few losses, Jocko decisioned him. Jocko knocks out no one, but before that, again, Khamzat and Ian. Deron Wynn rocked him. That's concerning. Trevin Giles rocked him. You saw he was he was fine. He was durable. Then here, somewhere right around this UFC range of, not the Jack Hermanson fight, but after that, I don't remember if Kevin Holland rocked him. I know Trevin rocked him. I know Eric Anders rocked him. I know Deron Wynn rocked him. I know Ian put him out, and I know Khamzat put him out. So you saw durable, getting stunned and rocked, to just going straight out. Now he's just going out every time he gets touched. So Muradov also rocked him. So let's not pretend like he's some phenomenal fighter. Pick is going to be Silva. Bet is going to be Silva by KO. Guaranteed. That's how it would happen. All right. Next fight of the night is a weird one I don't really want to touch either. It's just more grease. So we have Devin Clark going up at plus 140, going up against Amzat Marikhanov at minus 165. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 plus 105, under 2.5 minus 135. Let's start with Devin Clark because I hate Devin Clark. I don't want to bet Devin Clark. I might be forced to here. I don't really know. He is okay wrestling. He has a good wrestling on paper, but you don't see it that much in the UFC. His striking's better than I remember it being when I did fight tape. I mean, he's all right. He will have a 4-inch reach advantage here. That's good for him. Cardio checks out. Yeah, he does have good cardio. And his losses are good. His losses are to Anthony Smith, good. Kutalaba, it's all right. Ryan Spann, good. All right. Alexander Rakic, all right. Jan, former champ. Alex Nicholson, I don't know about that one. But all in all of his losses are to people that are, top 15 in the division. But let's look at his wins. His wins in the UFC. Jake Collier, who we now see at heavyweight. I don't know who Josh Stanberry even is. Darko Stojic, Quan Townsend, Alonzo Menafield, William Knight, I think he's been caught. So, yeah, not the greatest one. So when you give him a killer. When you give him someone in the top 15, he's guaranteed to lose. You give him someone outside the top 15, he's guaranteed to win. Where does Azmat fall? Is basically what this turns into. And the answer is, I have not the slightest fucking clue. Azmat has pretty good striking. His wrestling checks out because he's Russian. He's 11-0. He's undefeated. He's crazy. He tried to take some fights at heavyweight a few times against like Jared Vandera and shit. Like this dude, he has fought at heavyweight before in the regional scene. I don't think he should be a 205 pounder. I think he should be at middleweight. The crazy thing is, I think Devin Clark should also be at middleweight. So they're going to be around the same size here. Azmat's a low volume. I don't like that. He can get backed up. I don't like that. And technically on paper, he's kind of hittable. I don't like that. The issue is he's pretty spry and fast. He's deceptively athletic. He doesn't look that athletic, especially when you see him physically on the scales. He is not a physical, imposing figure by any means, but he's pretty quick and he hits very, very, very hard. Devin Clark, a little chinny. So I don't think Devin Clark's going to be able to take him down. That leaves us in a striking battle with Azmat, who doesn't throw a lot, but hits very hard, going up against Devin Clark, who throws a decent amount, but has no chin. I think this line is off. I think the line should be more of a pick'em. So for that reason, I understand the Devin Clark love. Azmat also was on the juice in the regional scene. That's another thing. So the Azmat on the regional scene and some of that fight tape would kill Devin Clark. UFC Azmat that almost lost to Tafon Inchqui, not so much, but he did knock out Tafon in the third round, which I like. That showed his power carried over. I think Devin Clark is that chinny that it only takes one. So the pick is going to be Azmat. The bet is going to be Azmat. But I would probably stay away from that one. I'd also stay the hell away from this fight. We have Yasmin, I cannot say her last name, Yasmin Jigari Jaragui against Yasmin Lucindo. Yeah, they're both named Yasmin, just spelled differently. So let's start with Yasmin J. You know what? No, let's start with Yasmin Lucindo, because Lucindo's weird. Over under set at 2.5, over 2.5 minus 195, under 2.5 plus 160. Lucindo's weird because you watch her, you look at her picture, and I watched an entire fight thinking she was the opposite girl. I saw that she won by knockout. I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely the right one. She has short hair, it looks like in this picture. In that video, there was a girl with short hair that kind of looked like her, and a girl with long hair that was her. So I watched the entire fight thinking it was the wrong person. I was like, this other girl's stand-up is not that bad, but it was her. Her stand-up is not that bad. She's predominantly a grappler. She likes to take you down, hold you down, and ground and pound. He doesn't get a ton of subs. It's more or less ground and pound finishes. You see a lot of KOs on here. There are a lot of ground and pounds, in all honesty. Hasn't fought the best competition. Pretty much a can crusher, in all honesty. But it's not her fault because she's 20. She's not old, man. This girl's only 20 years old. She's in the UFC. So she's going to get better and better every fight. Is she UFC ready? I don't know if she is yet. She's overall well-rounded, but 20-year-old fighter is going to do 20-year-old things. I mean, look at like Chase Hooper when he first came into the UFC. Sometimes they just need a little grooming. I don't know, man. You can back her up a little. Her wrestling seems fine. Her jiu-jitsu's fine. Her striking's not terrible, but I don't know. She just does some dumb stuff sometimes in the octagon. On the flip side, so does her opponent. Her opponent's only 23, so it's not like she's much older. Her husband's her jiu-jitsu coach, so I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. She's known for her striking. She's undefeated coming out of Combate America. I said Yasmin can get backed up. Yasmin J likes to go forward. And this girl is explosive. This is definitely a setup fight for her, but they don't hate the other girl because she's not terrible. They don't really know what to do, so they just matched up the 20 and the 23-year-old. Say which one are we gonna promote? Basically, is what they're doing. Winner is gonna get pushed. The other one gets pushed to the side. Basically, Yasmin J here is fast. She's very, very fast and explosive, and she blitzes, and she doesn't stop blitzing. I sometimes worry about her cardio, the way she pushes, but I mean, look, round one knockout. She has a decision win, knockout, decision win. She can keep going. Second round, first round. So this is a 125-pound girl that's getting predominantly knockouts. All she does is blitz. 115 pounds. All she does is blitz you, and it's explosive, and it's fast combinations, and she doesn't fucking stop. I don't know if she's going to have an adrenaline dump and be able to do that in her very first fight. I have no idea. On paper, I understand why she's the favorite, but Yasmin Lucinda seems a little more well-rounded. So what I'm going to go with is the UFC doesn't know these people. The odds maker don't know these people. Vegas doesn't know these people. So at first, I was going to do a dog or pass shot, but if Lucinda takes her down, maybe she's able to get a sub. If she's not, dude, Yasmin J rushes, and she bull rushes, and she might put her out of there. So I don't hate the over. Over is plus 160. Under. Under 2.5 is plus 160. I think it's a sneaky little play there, and I don't think anyone's hit to it. So the pick is going to be Yasmin J. She's going to keep her O, but I think the under is how it happens, and I think you're protected either way with that under. So pick is Yasmin J. Bet is the under 2.5. And we're at our co-main event of the evening. We have David Onama minus 210 going up against Nate the Train Landwehr at plus 180. Over under set at 1.5. Over 1.5 is minus 155. Over 1.5 minus 155. Under 1.5 at plus 125. Let's start with Nate Landwehr. He is annoying. I don't really like Nate Landwehr in all honesty. He has cardio for days. He's fought some pretty good competition in Julian Erosa, Ludovic Klein, Darren Elkins, got knocked out by Herbert Burns. That did not age well. Not at all. But he's fought a lot of killers over at the M1 Global scene. Again, I talk about how much I love people that go over there and fight for the regional scene, and he did it. He has a track and field background, Division I, so he's very, very athletic. Ton of cardio. Like I said, cardio for days. That's his best weapon, and he uses it as a weapon. The striking's good. 87% takedown defense is good. High volume, good. Pressure, absolutely brawler. All he does is go forward, nonstop pressure, want to brawl. The problem is he's fighting David Onama, who also likes to go forward, likes to brawl, has a shit ton of power. Nate the Train he's had 2 losses in the UFC. They were both by knockout. David Onama, he has 1 win in the UFC, or 2 wins in the UFC, both by finish. So I think on a grappling standpoint, I think Onama's the better grappler. I think he's better on the ground. Wrestling, I don't know if he's going to be able to take Nate down. That's the thing. I honestly have no idea if he's able to. If he can't and he's forced to fight on the feet, I think he's perfectly fine with that. He's at Glory MMA with James Krause. He too is high volume. God, he has good cardio. He checked out. He took that Nate Mason Jones fight on short notice. I know that loss isn't aging too well, but it was up a weight class. Let's not forget, and it was on a few days' notice. I think the jiu-jitsu is huge here. It's going to turn into power in jiu-jitsu against forward pressure and volume, but I think David throws enough. And he'll also have a 4-inch reach advantage. So I love reach advantages in fights. So the pick is going to be Onama. I think he's the better all-around fighter. He's definitely the younger fighter. He's definitely only 28 years old, but I think he's at the better camp. and just has the better tools to win. So pick his Onama, bet is going to be Onama. That takes us to the main event of the evening. We have Marlon Vera at minus 210 going up against Dom Cruz at plus 180. Over under set at 4.5. Over 4.5 minus 195. Under 4.5 plus 160. Let's start with Cruz. I love Dom Cruz. He's one of my favorites. I remember at one point during my fandom, I bought every single WEC event. It was like a DVD package. I bought every single one in one setting. Obviously, a lot of Dom Cruz in there. Great striking. People are starting to figure him out. Like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, they had no idea what was happening. Now people are kind of getting hit to Dom Cruz, so it's a little concerning. Still has great wrestling as well. So he has good striking and wrestling. His jiu-jitsu's fine. He doesn't tap a lot of people out, but he does when he gets you down. His cardio is good. His striking's good. His wrestling's good. Durability used to be on point. Not so much anymore. We saw Pedro Munoz drop him, I think, multiple times. Casey Kenny, did he drop him? I think it was just leg kicks. I don't think he actually dropped him. Henry Cejudo did drop him. I know that. So did Cody Garbrandt. Oh my God. No. He's 37 years old. I love Dom. He's one of my favorites. But at one point, you see your heroes just get older. My favorite fighter ever is Anthony Pettis. Pettis is clearly showing the age, as is Dom Cruz. Now that his durability is starting to go. But he still has the cardio. He still has the striking. He still has the wrestling. He still has the IQ. I think him being a commentator is huge for him because he's around the fight game all the time. He's not just sitting on his couch. He's not just training the same stuff and everyone's catching up to him. He is evolving. He's watching and calling these fights. He's doing fight tape himself. And I think that is huge for him. On the flip side, in all honesty, this is going to sound weird. I know I'm most likely on an island. I think Marlon Vera is overrated. Here's the deal. It sounds crazy. I know he's on a big streak. I know he looks like a killer. I don't think Marlon Vera hits that hard. Hear me out. Rob Font in his last few fights has shown he has zero chip whatsoever. We know this. Rob Font outstruck Marlon Vera by 50 significant strikes in their fight. It was not close. Rob Font literally landed more than 50 significant strikes, more than Marlon Vera. The issue is when Marlon hit Rob, he got knocked down. The judges saw the damage, awarded the round to Marlon. Every single round. Rob Font in that 25-minute fight probably won 19 to 20 minutes of it. But there was 1 minute in every round where Marlon Vera dropped him and almost finished him. I don't think that's Marlon Vera's power. I think that is Rob Font's chin. Frankie Edgar was known as being this durable guy. Well, newsflash for you. Frankie Edgar is 42 years old. Frankie Edgar was winning that fight against Marlon Vera. It was very, very close. Some people, it was literally 50-50 on who was winning. I definitely think Frankie Edgar won round one. Round two was a Vera round, and then round three was 50-50 up until he got caught, and he front kicked Frankie in the face and put him out. Now, Frankie Edgar again is a 42-year-old man, and that is a kick. He doesn't punch that hard. He literally just, if you get soccer kicked, you get soccer kicked. But that's an anomaly. How many other soccer kick knockouts does Frankie Edgar have? Davey Grant, we've seen dropped a few times. He survived. I didn't see some murderous knockout power from Marlon Vera that fight. So you're telling me a chinny Rob Font, a 42-year-old Frankie Edgar, Jose Aldo was perfectly fine. Sean O'Malley, it shows a knockout. Sean O'Malley rolled his ankle. You can say what you want. Sean O'Malley was kind of winning the fight before the leg injury. Could Cheeto have came back and won? Absolutely. But Cheeto didn't just go out there and knock out Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley's leg literally gave out, whatever that pinched nerve thing was, and he fell down to the ground. That was not Cheeto Vera's power knocking him out. So all three of these knockouts in this streak have an asterisk next to it. The only issue I have is that Dom Cruz is another 37-year-old man. It could happen again. It could literally happen again. But I think people are overestimating Cheeto's power. You're also overestimating the fact that Cheeto Vera has won one first round in his entire UFC tenure. Song Yadong, Sean O'Malley, or that finished early. Frankie Edgar, Davey Grant, Andre Ewell. Who is this? Nolene Hernandez. Don't even know who that is. Frankie Saenz, Guido Canetti, all won the first round against him. Like, what is that telling you? Like, he has won one, and that was Rob Font. And Rob Font outlanded him. He just got clipped once, so they gave him the round. He's a slow starter. He has his power is not that extreme. He has great cardio, and he does figure you out, just kind of like Peter Yan does, where he'll probably lose the first round. Peter Yan also always loses the first round. So they need to fight each other and just see what the fuck happens in the first round. I guess nothing, a draw. You get a Rose and Carlo ordeal. I have no idea. But he does have the Yan approach where he lets you kind of dominate, and then he figures you out, and he comes back and he wins. That's what he does. So Cruz is going to win the first round or two. Cruz is not necessarily just going to get knocked out by some murderous power. Cruz has been submitted one time in his entire career, and he's fought for like 15, 20 years, has been submitted one time, and that was off a guillotine from Faber in Faber's prime. So Vera, I do think, has a grappling advantage on the ground, but Vera can't wrestle. So, and he doesn't have the greatest takedown defense in the world. So I don't know, man. A 2-inch reach advantage is good for Vera. Vera's hittable. He gets hit more than he dishes out. He's not a murderous power puncher. He's not some crazy fighter. Yeah, he has good losses. Aldo's a good loss. Song Yadong is a good loss. John Lineker's a good loss. Douglas Silva de Andrade, not the worst. Davey Grant, not the worst. Like, you can beat this guy. Who's Davey Grant or Dom Cruz who's winning the fight? The line is off. I am totally biased. I think the Marlon Vera hype is just going a little too extreme. So the pick is going to be Dom. The bet is going to be Dom at plus 180. But this is what you do. You live bet. Like I said, Marlon Vera never wins the first round. So let Dom win the first round or two, and then bet Marlon Vera at dog money. Bet Dom to start before the fight even starts. And then after he wins the first 2 rounds, then bet Marlon Vera and get plus money on both sides. Guarantee yourself a win. Easy money. That is UFC San Diego. Vera versus Cruz. Again, make sure you give this video a like, a subscribe, follow over on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We're taking over day by day. Otherwise, this is a good week. I feel it. It's a good fight card. Let's take advantage of it. Fans are there. Let's get money.